Can you brief about yourself? Yes, so basically I am working as a software QA engineer, around 3+ years of experience. So I have a knowledge in the automation testing as well as the manual testing. In the automation side, I have knowledge in the uh, Java as a language, and along with the Selenium, open source Selenium, and also I have a knowledge on TestNG framework, and also I have worked on basic part of Cucumber and REST API with the Java library REST Assured, and a little bit knowledge about like how we can schedule our jobs. Okay, with the help of Jenkins. So these things I know, and along with that, I mostly worked on the BDD framework, and my roles and responsibilities basically to preparing the test cases, and making the traceability metrics and scenarios, and take be the part of agile team. Then I have to attend the daily scrum meeting. So that's all I have till now, and my roles and responsibilities. Can you explain the difference between single slash and two slash in Selenium? Okay, so basically a single slash and double slash use in Selenium for writing the XPath. So the single slash is basically we use for the XPath where we are working with the absolute path. Okay, so the absolute path is basically the whatever the element we want to locate. That element is basically the node will start. I mean, whatever the single slash is there, that the absolute path, it will start searching from the root node or the starting node until the element whatever we want to locate. So that is the single slash. In the double slash, what happened, like the XPath what we have created, the selection will be from anywhere within the document. The document object model is there, and the particular selection of that particular relative path is the value which we have provided. I mean, it will not start with the root node or the starting node. What is the difference between interface and abstract class? Okay, so interface is basically it contain only the abstract methods, and whereas in the abstract class it contain abstract method as well as non-abstract method. In interface, like it support for the multiple inheritance, but whereas in abstract class it does not support multiple inheritance. Interface, we can use this interface to extend another interface. Okay, and in abstract class we can use extend keyword to extend another Java class, and but we can implement multiple Java interfaces. Okay, so we use like for interfaces we use implements keyword and extend keyword for abstract class. How did you achieve the abstraction in your project? Can you explain me? So abstraction we can achieve with the help of, like, we have a WebDriver interface, right? So in the WebDriver interface there are a lot of methods are there, right? And suppose let me give you one example where the actual abstraction will come into the picture. Suppose I have 2 3 different browser. Okay, and I'm checking with the help of if statement, like browser type is Chrome, then Chrome driver equals to new Chrome driver, and else if browser type is equals to Firefox, Firefox driver equals to new Firefox driver. Okay, so in this way, like, I am working with the class level, not the WebDriver interface level. So what, suppose in future if some methods are added by the Chrome driver, I mean that some developer who is working on a Chrome driver class, so he will added some extra method that will won't be available for Firefox driver, right? But it in case like it will be added in WebDriver interface, then it will be commonly useful for both the classes like Chrome driver and the Firefox driver. So, like, this is the very basic and also the most important thing where like the abstraction come into the picture, and it is very useful for achieving the like whatever the task we need to perform. And somewhere it is also it takes the advantage of polymorphism also, because it gives us the multiple forms, like, okay. So yeah, that's it, I can think of. Okay, so the next question is if the element is not visible on a page, okay, and is it possible to make element visible? If yes, then how we can make it visible? Yeah, so basically the element, suppose it is not visible on that particular web page we are trying to locate. So there may be multiple reasons, because sometime what happen, whatever the height and width, maybe that particular element is set to be a zero or a point values, like where particular it is not able to find or locate that particular element. Or sometime it is also happen like the element we are able to see, but we won't be able to locate. But in this scenario what happened, like that particular element we want to locate is covered by some other element. So this is the second reason I can think of. And also sometime what happen, on some element there is CSS is applied, okay, like the hidden attribute is used somewhere, so that that particular element is not visible. So this kind of also we can say that the possibilities of element is hidden. So we basically cover up this situation, okay, with the help of we can one thing is like we can maximize our window, okay, so that whatever the value is there, it can be visible. Or we can also ask the developer to increase that particular element height or width, so that it can be visible. Or else what we can do, we can also do one thing, we can just take a array list and we'll take all the values, whatever the values is hidden or whatever the value is not hidden for that particular element, and based on that we can also try to locate that particular thing. So in this way we can identify what are the ways element is hidden and what are the ways we can resolve this kind of issues. Okay, so in the page object model frame, it's a design pattern. In that we use add annotation, add find by. So what does it mean, and what is the meaning of it? Okay, so the annotation add find by is basically useful with when we are using the page factory, okay. In the page object model, when we use page factory, this particular @find by annotation is useful. We can easily, with the help of @find by, we can locate the particular element, based on the ID or the X path. So the syntax will be @find by in the bracket X path or the ID equals to whatever the value we can take from the particular element, okay, from the web page. And then we can write web element and the name of that particular, suppose it is a username, so web element username semicolon. So in this way we are able to locate username with the help of this annotation and store it in a username, okay. So this will be useful. How do you fetch the records from the Excel? Explain the code. Like you said, you worked on BDD framework. So just can you explain me the code? Okay, so reading the file, we use reading the data from the Excel file. We can use the Apache POI, a dependency we need to add, okay, in the POM. And then we can write the code. The code will be like that only. Like first of all we need to give the path of that file. So first of all we need to create the object file, and the file object equals to new file, and we need to provide in bracket the entire path of that Excel file we have created, okay. And after that we need to use a file input stream, okay, and again file input stream object will be created equals to new file input stream, and whatever the file object we have created, that value needs to be passed in file input stream. And then we have two scenarios. If we are working with like XLS file, then we have simple HSSF workbook, and if we are working with XLXX file, okay, that time we have to use XSSF workbook. So the two scenarios are different, so we can take one of those based on the extension of the file XLX or XLXX, okay. So based on that we need to create the object of that workbook as well, okay. And then what we can do, we need to just like we need to again create the object of that workbook, XSSF workbook, and we need to pass the as a parameter whatever we have created in file input stream object, okay. So we are able to successfully able to locate that particular value into the XSSF workbook object. And then suppose I need to work on the data, then there is a method, okay. First of all we need to locate the sheet number. So for that we have object of XSSF workbook, so that object dot get sheet, and we need to pass the name of the sheet or the index number of that particular sheet. So in that way we will get the sheet number. Then we have a get row num or get last row num or get last column, okay. So in that way it's not column, get last cell. So in that way we can fetch the values, okay, of that particular sheet, whatever the values are there in terms of rows and in terms of cell, and we can use the for loop to iterate all the values. So overall, like in this way we can easily read the data from the Excel file. Where do you use abstract classes in Selenium? I mean, what is the use of it? Okay, so abstract class plays a major role in a framework. Like abstract class, as we know that like it uses the abstract keyword, as well as the main purpose or the intention of abstract class is basically to make all the things in a one place which are common, or we can reuse that particular thing. So all the reusable methods that we use across all the pages, as I am using the page object model, so we have a separate .java files, okay, and different pages we have different tests there, and also we have a base classes. So all the reusable method that I am using across all pages or the classes, okay, or the library. Suppose I need to take a screenshot, so it is a frequent task, right? So we can say that it is comes under the reusable task or the library, or taking the values from the Excel. So these are the common utility methods or the package we have created. Over there the abstract class come into the picture, and we can utilize the concepts of abstract class. How you handle statements in exception? What are the statements, I mean, in the exceptions? uh, Statement in exception, I mean, what I know in the exception is like whatever the statement is, like we have using the try, catch, and then finally blocks are there. We can also have throw and throws are also there, okay, for raising the exception or handling the exception. So these are the basically the we can say that the exception handling statements are there. A try block is basically it will identify a block of statement, okay, which will be come under the try block. What like suppose whatever the things we are writing in the try block is, suppose I am writing some code and it might get exception or the error anything, so that thing I need to write in the try block, okay. And for handling that, suppose if I get some exception in a try block, then I will definitely handle in somewhere, so the catch block will be there, okay, for handling the exception. And finally block is basically introduced in Java, so that sometime what happened, we create the database connections and we create the resources and files, but we forgot to what we can say that forgot to close that. So that time the finally blocks comes into the picture, and we need to close all that connections part. So whatever the situation it may, like try block, if it get passed, I mean there is no exception or there is exception, the finally block will be executed. I mean there is no issue or anything with the finally will always execute. Tell me, I am asking you one question, like what is your approach? How will you print the numbers from 1 to 100 without using any loops like for loop, while loop or do while loop? You need to print numbers from 1 to 100. How you will do that? Okay, without with without using any loops, I need to print 1 to 100. Okay. I think we can use somewhere. I have heard that, but I have never tried this thing like printing the 1 to 100. But somewhere I come across this situation. Someone told me like we can do one thing like we can use recursive main function is there. With the help of recursive main function, we can somewhere manage to print the number from 1 to 100. So the code will be like that. We have basically a class, name of the class, and inside that we have a public static void main. So in the class level, we need to make one static variable like static int I equals to 1. Okay, and inside that main method, we need to just create one if statement, I is less than equals to 100. Okay, so if this condition satisfied, then we need to just increment the value of I. Suppose system.out.println and then I plus plus. Okay, and in after that the value will get incremented, right? But we need to call again that particular main method, so that the value of I will be, and now it will become a 2, so it will become 3, like that it will increase, right? So the next line will be after system.out.println, we need to just write main, and inside that bracket we need to just pass null, because a main method contains value, right? So we cannot leave it as a blank, so we need to just pass it the null. So in this way it will call again the main method, and it will it is kind of loop only, recursive main function, and it will print your all 100 numbers. I have never tried, but I have just seen somewhere, so I am answering this. Suppose there is a text. Okay, the text is text1. How do you write the XPath for it? XPath for text1. So basically what we can do is uh, we have a text method. Okay, so suppose I am writing the relative XPath, so 2 forward slash, and then suppose paragraph is there, so p tag will be used, and in the square bracket open and close, inside that I will write like what we can say that the text method text and open and close round bracket equals to, in single quotes, text1. So it will take text1 value, and we can easily store it, and this is the XPath basically. I can think of like we can write like for that particular text1. What is the difference between list and set? List and set both are the basically part of collection framework, and both are the interface only. List contain array list, vectors, linked list. These are the classes of list interface, and set has hash set, okay, linked hash set, and sorted set. These are the classes basically for the set interface. List basically give us the like it allow us to add the duplicates value in the list. There is no issue for that. But in set it takes only or work on a unique values. I mean we cannot add the duplicates values, right? And in the list List is basically the way we are adding the value, whether it's a unique value or a duplicate value. The way we have inserted it will be print on the output screen, like the order is preserved somewhere, and in the set it is the order of insertion is not preserved. Like I have added 1 2 3 4, then the output it might will come like that 4 3 1 2, like that only. So these are the basic difference. To based on the requirement we can use list and set. Can you explain driver dot get window handle? What is exactly the work driver dot get window handles do? Driver dot get window handles, it will return me the set of string values. Because every windows or tab which we are getting more than one, it is a unique only, so it will give us the set of string values first of all. And second thing is like the get window handles, what I know, one thing is like it internally uses the linked hash set. So whatever the set it return, it will give the window handle in order it opens. Like the again somewhere it is in the way like linked hash set is working, the get window handles also working. So how we need to write the syntax is like we need to write set in the like what we can say, the greater than or less than bracket a string, and then we can create the object of that equals to driver dot get window handles. So we will get the set of handles, and we need to use the for loop or the iterator to iterate and to traverse to all the different windows tab whichever we want to work on. So this is the work like get window handles do. Can you explain me the difference between the string buffer and string builder? Okay, so string is basically a class, and string buffer and string builder also the class only. String is immutable. Suppose we are writing some string that we cannot make it modifiable, so it is not possible in string class. But whereas string buffer and string builder, like it is a mutable classes. So suppose we are writing some string and then we want to modify it in that string only, that can be done with the help of string buffer or string builder. Okay, again the string buffer and string builder, it is based on the requirement. Suppose I need a thread safety and synchronization, so I will go for the string buffer. And in other case, like I have to work with the not thread safety is required or synchronization, then string builder I will choose. But one thing also is their difference, like string builder is somewhere it is not thread safe, right? So it will be a faster than string buffer, because string buffer somewhere it uses like synchronization and thread safety is there. Okay, so this is the difference between these three things. Why we use interface? Can you explain me, and where you have used the interface concepts in your project? Interface in my project is some like the web driver itself, it's an interface. So while initializing the any browser with the help of Selenium WebDriver, we basically use like WebDriver, we create the object of it equals to new whatever the browser, like Chrome driver or the Firefox driver or IE driver. So this is like we can say that I have used interface in my project. Also I'm not getting right now recollecting, but this is the one thing where we can we have used the interface. Also we can use other place as well, but right now I'm not able to think of like where we can more use the interface. Is it possible to use implicit and explicit wait at the same time? If not, then why? So, using the implicit and explicit weight together, I think it is never be the good standard or the good practice to use both the weight together. But if in case, like, it is possible to use, but it is not a good practice, because somewhere you are you know confusing the driver to work on the explicit weight or then the implicit weight, and somewhere the time conflicts is occur, and I mean, somewhere the whatever the thing we want to achieve with the help of weight is somewhere it is it is not in a good place. So if you want to use beside this all the like drawbacks, so you can use both the thing, like explicit weight and implicit weight together. But always remember, I have used this thing in my project, like I know, so the weight, the preference will be go to the explicit weight. Okay, so we can use both the weight together, but the preference will go to the explicit weight. Okay, so basically it works like a local or global variable. Okay, like we used to have in our programming language. Okay, so local always gets the first preferences as it's specified, so it is only the thing like we can use, but this is the scenario or the drawbacks will be there. How do you get the text from the alert pop-up and store it in variable? Like we are getting the alerts pop-up, right, and the text is written in that alert pop-up. So how you can get that particular text from that particular alert pop-up? Yeah, so alert is basically it's an interface. So it has the method like get text method is there. With the help of that, we can, whatever the value we are getting in the alert pop-up, we can easily grab it and store it in a variable. So the syntax will be like that: alert and the object equals to driver dot switch to dot alert. Then whatever the object we have created for alert, that is alert dot get text, and we can store it in a string variable. So in that way we'll get that particular text. How to handle a drop down? What is your approach? Okay, so handling the drop down, we can use the select class we have. We need to create the object of select class, and we need to pass the driver instant object we have created. Okay, and then with the help of the object we have created for select, we have three methods. Like we can work on the drop down. We have a select by name, by visible text, and by value. So these are the three ways or the methods which are present in the select class we can use and to perform the or handle the drop down values or work with the drop downs. Can you tell me how I can perform the double click? Which class and the method do I need to use? Yeah, so basically we need to work with the actions class. We need to again create the object of actions class and pass the driver instant, and then whatever the object we have created, that object dot first we need to locate that particular element, or we have to move to that particular element. So we have a move to element, that is hovering part, that can be done first, and we need to pass the like driver dot find elements and whatever the value for that located element, and then again we need to use dot double click method is there. So double click method we can use dot build dot perform. In this way the entire action, or we can use the double click operations. How to capture screenshot in Selenium? Can you explain me the code? Yes, so we have a take screenshot interface is there. We need to like we need to write take screenshot or object src, whatever the name we want to write. Okay. And then sorry, equals to, we need to typecast the take screenshot interface with the driver instance, web driver instance, and then we need to use whatever the object we have created dot, we have a method name get screenshot as. Okay, so that gets screenshot as inside the bracket we need to specify the file type, whether it's a base 64 encoding or it's a normal file. So output type dot file we have to write. So in that way we are able to write the source file. Okay, that will be stored in the file only. And then we need to also specify the destination where we need to move our whatever the file we have getting, right? So like we have to create file object equals to new file and the file path where we need to store. And then we have to use one class, file utils class is there, and it has one method copy file, and it takes two arguments, source comma destination. So source we have get from the like get screenshot as method whatever we have written, and the destination we have specified based on the object we have created. So in this way we can take the screenshot of it. Okay, so I'm done from my side. Do you have any questions for me? No, no such question. I am good from my side as well. Okay, okay, then have a great day. Nice talking to you. Bye. Yeah, bye.